Good stress? Is there such a thing? Why would I want more stress? I have enough stress in my life. This is probably what you're thinking, but you actually need some good stress in your life. Otherwise, it'll be pretty boring. But what are the difference between good and bad stress? And when does stress turn into anxiety? Good stress and bad stress. There are examples of both here on this slide. Good stress is sometimes also called eustress. Bad stress is called distress. The differences are clear between the two. You most likely enjoy the good stress ones more than the bad stress ones, and they generally also do not last that long. First date is always a first date, and then it stops. You compete in sports and the game is over. You ride a roller coaster and then it's done after a few minutes. These generally are things that make you feel alive, but do not last that long. And the bad stress, on the other hand, are relationship problems, the death of a loved one, abuse, working in a high-pressure job, etc. These are typical things that go on for a longer period, really long in some cases. And both of these activate the sympathetic nervous system. As you know, we need homeostasis, so we need both the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system to be active equally. But if you're chronically stressed, the sympathetic nervous system is more active. And what you can then see are some signs such as memory loss, trouble concentrating, poor decision making, etc. And these are all examples because of what is called cortical inhibition. Your amygdala essentially shuts down your neocortex, your thinking part of your brain that we saw earlier. And the reason for that is that you don't need to think if you're in immediate danger. If you're in immediate danger, you need to act, and you need to act now, and there's no time for thinking. Other signs of chronic stress are weight gain, irritability, depression, anxiety, heart disease, insomnia, high blood pressure, autoimmune diseases, etc. It was investigated, and it turns out that about 75 to 90% of all illnesses that people go to a doctor for start with chronic stress. So let that sink in for a minute. 75 to 90% of all illnesses start with chronic stress. If you take out any genetic birth defects or accidents that add up to the other 10 to 25%, then it's just amazing that so many diseases start with chronic stress, and it is so important that you deal with that. The sooner the better. But what exactly is the relationship between stress and anxiety? As you can see here, stress actually is a physical thing. As we have seen before, if you have a stressor, for some people, it will activate the amygdala because it recognizes something from the past as something that was stressful then. You experience something now that is similar, so your amygdala fires your sympathetic nervous system and you get that physical response with your dry mouth, with your digestive problems, etc. So stress actually is a physical response to a stressor. You feel it in your body. Anxiety, on the other hand, is then the follow-up to stress as an emotional response. Anxiety usually manifests itself when stress is persistent over a longer period of time. When you think, oh my God, this is never going to go away, it will be like this forever, and then stress can become anxiety. If you're suffering from anxiety, it's therefore best to reduce your stress because there is a direct relationship between the two. I did some searching on Google Trends to see how frequently people are searching for stress or anxiety. And the blue line here shows you how many times people worldwide, already since 2004, are searching for stress as a keyword. It seems to be very consistent over time, as you can see here. But if you look at the red line, that is how many people are searching for anxiety as a keyword in Google. And you can see that massive increase. It was pretty shocking to me when I saw this, but it seems that many more people are suffering from anxiety these days, as opposed to just stress. It must be that people have been under stress for longer periods in time, or that something happened in the last 20 years or so that triggered this significant increase in keyword searches. All the more reason for you to address your stress symptoms, because if you're suffering from anxiety, it will then also help in that area. Knowing now how your body responds to stress, it is time to start to measure it. The rest of this course is dedicated to giving you ways to reduce your stress. Maybe you don't need all of them in the end, but what I would suggest to try them anyway, because certain circumstances will give you stress you did not expect. Stay tuned.